And I was once, and I was trying.
No, Clarky, you can share your screen and let's see. Okay, okay, I think it's coming up here. Sure, thanks. We all have a screen, right? I can see your screen.
Can you see?
Yes, I have your screen. Yes. Okay, cool. So, right, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Any question? Do you take us too quickly and then people who have questions can ask their questions?
Can you see?
We had it already. We have your screen, actually. Just go to your VS Code. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have it. Okay, you just walk us through quickly, and then if anyone has any question, they ask.
Yeah, so it's greet user. So the function is let current hour. So the current hour is a new date, and the get hours will be between 0 to 23 hours. Then so if the current hour is less than 12 hours, then the greeting that will pop up should be good morning. As if the current hour is less than 18 hours, then the greeting that should pop up should be good afternoon. Then any other hours apart from these two will be good evening. But I'm unable to run it to see if it's working.
Okay, so you are getting the current hour, and then you have another function to say greetings. Okay.
Yeah.
If the current hour is less than 12, the greeting becomes good morning.
Yes.
If the current hour is less than 18, okay. So I mean, like do you all see because in the first one, if the number is less than 12, it will just return if it's 18. So if it's after 12, which will be something like 13, it will follow the second one. And if it's something like 19, it will follow the last one. And the assumption is that 23, we have 0 to 23, at least in a day, at least up to 24 hours. So you can count on that to get that to work. Do we all get the concept?
No, please can you repeat again?
So from what William has done, William used a class in JavaScript called new date, and I say get hour. That will return the current hour, the time you are running the code. It will get the hour of the day, and the hour is in JavaScript. It takes the hour from 1 to let's say 1 to 24, literally. So 0 to 23, right? Because once you get to 12 o'clock, it's going to continue 1 as 13. You get that, right? Yeah, the time, some in 24 hours time zone, after 12, it goes to 13, 14, 15. You know that 15 is 3 o'clock. You get that, right? So if it gets the hour, the current hours, if the hour is less than 12, then it means it's morning. So the greeting will be what? Good morning. So you saw line 3. The greeting variable will now become what? Morning. Assuming it's less than 18. So Clanking is assuming that William is assuming that if you are less than 6 o'clock, it's still afternoon. Anything more than that is evening. We get the whole assumption from there. I hope that's clear. Of course, you can say yours after 4, it is evening. So then you just need to change the 18 to 16, right? Do we all get that? Any question
Okay.
again? Yeah.
All right, Mr. Bright.
Mm-hmm.
Please, what if let's say for the good morning you do it, let's say less than or equal to 11, and for
That's
the afternoon
also
you do it less
that
than.
that's also fine. That's also fine, which means that you are going to
Okay.
consider morning 11, but you want to, if it is 11, it's also morning. It's also the same logic
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
William is using here. If it's less than 12,
Okay.
mean if it's
Uh, all right.
equal or less to 11. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Yeah,
I get it.
several ways
Yeah,
to
I get
write
it.
the
I get it
logic.
now.
You need to be thinking right about it. All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Mm.
Thank you. I get it now. Yeah.
But go for the option that lets you write less code. You get my point?
All right.
If you are writing less than, and you're writing less than and equal to, which one is lesser? Less than, right?
Less than, yeah.
Good. So go for the thing that will let you write less code, less number of code. Do we all get that concept?
Okay.
Of course, there's something here we don't understand. We'll talk about that today. It's called functions. This is what William has done, functions. But we'll talk about that quickly today. Right? Any question? So William, you just run. You just do what we call maybe install the runner and just be able to run it and see how it goes. That's all.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. All right, cool. Thanks. At least great job on the most important the function we can the function. There are a few things we can look at, but I like what's the name the logic, the conditional statement. It's clear on what a conditional statement actually means. All right, good. Thanks. Has
You're
anyone
welcome.
has anyone done it in another interesting way they want to share before we move into? All right, cool. That being said, let me share my screen and then we jump into today. All right. Okay. I'm creating a new file and I'm going to save it. Let me say, you have my screen, please. Okay. Okay. Did you have my screen?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
but
Now,
we are on the call.
you said?
We can see the display of the people on the call.
Okay. Has it changed now?
Nope.
Let me know if you can see my VS Code.
Not yet. Okay.
Okay, cool. So we mentioned that to declare a variable, you can have, like, let's say we said that you can say a let, right? And let's say, so then this becomes let's first number, for instance, and then you can assign a variable. Let's say this is a variable, okay? And then I can declare another variable. So far you have, I can say second number, and then we can put this as a second number. All right, pay attention. So we've drawn the conclusion that this is the way to declare variable. We say you can use let or you can use constant. So any of the approaches you choose is fine. Depends on what you want to do, whether you want to be able to reassign the variable or you don't want to reassign the variable. Now, We also then talk about mathematical operation, being able to add numbers and do that and do that. But there's one key thing in JavaScript that I want to mention today. Let me see if we are on the right page. Yeah, we're on the right page. This is fine. Very, very good. Good. There's one thing I want to mention. Another variable which we have not mentioned, but it's very important, is what we call array. Array. So this, you declare this way. Array hold a list of items. So let's say, for instance, if I want to hold a list of numbers, I can hold them by separating them by commas. This is what you call array. So far, we spoke about integers, we spoke about strings, but there's another data type we call arrays. It's a very powerful one. Any questions so far? So if you need to hold a collection of items, we use what you call arrays. So I can also have names, and then I can put in the array, but this will be a list of names. So if you need to hold a collection of items, then we have what you call arrays. Any question about arrays? Anytime you need to hold a collection of items, you use what you call arrays. Any question? A new variable, a new data type, you call it array. All right. Now, there's a few things you need to know about arrays. So for instance, if I say console.log, I mean that pay attention to, let me clear this output. So you see here, I printed the array. So it's going to spit out these things. So I say console.log, the names is going to spit out all the names. So arrays hold a collection of lists. So if I say numbers and I print out the numbers, you see the numbers have been spitting out all the numbers on the screen for me. Please, if you are stuck or I'm stuck, draw my attention quickly. So arrays hold a collection of data types. Make sense? You separate them by comma, 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 comma. That's all. Does that make sense? Good. Now, a few things I want you to know about arrays. Arrays have a lot of operations about them. One, you can add to an array. Sorry. It's a very, very powerful concept, please. The arrays are very, very powerful concept. Don't move away. Now, you can add to an array. You do that by saying push. You call push. And when you call push, you add whatever you want to add to it. And if we do console.log and we check the array again, what do you expect to see? Anyone want to contribute? We had the arrays this way, and array has what we call, it has some functions on it. We'll come to functions very soon. Now, one of the functions on the array is called push. And when we say push, see, append new element to the end of an array. We call that push. You're adding something new to the array. So you have the array which hold these numbers. And I say the array dot push, and I add a new number to it. Now, if I check the contents in the array, watch what happens.
Right, you're stuck.
I'm stuck. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Coming. Let me do this again. What kind of network do you have in Ghana that does this crazy stuff? Are you with me now?
Yeah.
All right. So I was saying that, see, we had this array list first, 2, 4, 7, 8, 8, 8, right? This.
Yeah.
Now, after saying numbers dot push the array, I added one element called 9, right? If I check the result again, can you see that the number is not available in the array? So if you push to an array, you've added to the array. Does that make sense? Good.
Yeah.
The same way here, if I say names, that's the name of the array, and I say dot push, I check this, I added what? The list had only, you should be thinking of the application. The list had only 3 names. I've done a push, I ran my code again. What do I see? It has added what? The last element to it, which is called Kofi. So the push method of an array helps you add an element on top of what is already available in the array. Does that make sense? So let's say, for instance, you have a list of students in your class, and then you have a new student. You can just add it to the list by saying dot what? Push. Any question? So arrays hold a collection of items, and then there are some functions that you can call on the array. One of them is what? Push. Another function you can call on an array is called, we have pop. Who can guess what pop will do? Who can guess what pop will do? See the result
To
and tell.
return a message.
Yes. But then the pop will remove the last element in the array. Are you all with me? We had an element that had what? Three things, right? Isn't it? We added 1, we have 4. We pop 1, we have what? 3. If I remove this code here, this one, and I do pop on this, what do you expect to see? Anyone?
What's that thing? You're stuck on the
Yeah,
old
we
one.
can see. Yes. Mhm. Okay.
So I had 3 elements in my array.
Mhm.
You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Names. And then I ran names.pop. If I check
Mhm.
the list, how many elements do I expect to have?
You have 2.
2. So what does pop do? We know push will add. What will pop do?
It deletes maybe.
Removes the last element.
Mhm.
Are you all with me? Pop removes the last element. Please, are you all with us? Very important concept to understand. Pop removes what? The last element in the array. Are you with me? Very crucial to note. Any question? Push adds on top. It will add another element to it. Pop will what? Remove the last element. Any question? There are a lot of functions to call on the array, and these are crucial because you have arrays. You have a lot of things to do with array. We'll come to that very soon. That's why you need to understand arrays very well. Now, if I run another dot pop again on the same thing that I pop, what do I expect at the end of the day? I run dot pop. What if we check the names? What do we see?
You see only bright.
Only bright. Very good. So if you run that list, you only see just one thing at the end of the day. Watch it. You see only bright at the end of the day. You pop, you remove Kwame. You pop, you remove a header. So you have what? Bright at the end of the day. Does that make sense? All right. If you understand pop, let's go on. Now, I want you to also know that arrays, or in programming, we start counting from 0. In programming, we start counting from 0. So anytime you have an array, are you with me? You start, the elements they've been indexed, or they are arranged by indices. So the first element is called the 0th index, and then the second one will be the first index. So this array, the size of this array is what? 3. But the indices are 0, 1, and 2. Do you understand me? This array has 3 elements. How do you check that? You can say, so if we are, let's comment out this first so that this code doesn't run. If you say array.length, it will tell you the size of the array. And what's the size of the array, please? What is the size of this array? This one, the names array. What is the size?
Please, it seems you're stuck, so you can't say anything.
It's 3 while you're stuck.
3. Exactly, yes. 3, yes. I hope you got that.
Yes, please.
Yes, the size is the number of elements in the array. And you can get that by saying dot length on the array you want to check the length for. Good?
Okay.
Any question? If you need to check the length of your array, you can call a function called what? Dot length. Does that make sense? So if you say dot length, you can check the length of the array. Good. Now, I mentioned that the arrays have what? Indices. So if I say names, now if you need to access the element at a particular position, you put in a square bracket in front of it, then put the index you are looking for. Are you with me?
Can you take that again?
Yeah. So if you need to access the element in an array, you put in a square bracket in front of the array, then you put in the index you are looking for. So if I want the first element, what do? I put the index to be what? 0. So if you run this code, what do we expect to see? If we run this code, what do we expect? We should see what?
Is it the length?
No. If we
Oh,
are
you should
accessing
see
the,
bright.
you should see bright. Very good. Very good. Anyone else on the same page?
Yeah, it's true.
If you need to access an element in an array, you put a square bracket in front of the name of the array, and then you put the index of the element you want to access. And we say that it starts counting from what? 0. So then again, what is the name of the array with the names? What is the length of the array with the names?
It's 3.
3. What is the length of the array numbers?
6.
Very good. You count the element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But how do you get that programmatically? You say what?
0.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So the programmatically start from 0, but the size computers they start counting from 0. But you numerically in your head, you are natural in your counting, right? When you are learning numbers in school, you say counting numbers, they start from 1. So we count from 1, but computers do not count from 1. Does that make sense? That's why I say natural numbers or counting numbers. We start counting from 1, but computers they think in zeros and ones. So if I say what is the size of the numbers array, you are going to tell me what? 6, right? But programmatically, how do you detect the length of an array? If you want to get the length of the array, what do? You say what? You mention the array, right? And you say dot what? Length. Do you get a point? Now, the reason why, you see, you cannot go and be counting always. If you want to find, so let's say I've given you a list of students in your class, and you want to find out how many students are in the class, what do you do to that array? I've given you a list, an array of students in the class, and I am asking you how many students are in the class. As a programmer, what code will you write to get the number of students in the class? Will you be touching your screen and be counting them?
Yeah.
You don't do that. What do you do then? Any idea?
You use length.
You use length. You just say dot length. You just
Yeah.
do the dot length of the array. So if I run this code, what's the length of the numbers array? It's 11, right? Once you say length, it's going to tell you how many elements are in the array. So if I give a list of students in your class and ask you how many students are in the class, you just say dot length, right? And you get the number of people in it. Are we on the same page?
Your screen
Yeah.
is that big.
Yeah. I'm not sure why the internet is a bit laggy today. Very, very not sure. But I hope you understand, you're understanding the length concept. If you
Yeah.
need to get the size of the array, you do dot length of that array. Are you with me? Good, right? If you need to add an element to the array, you do what? Push. If you need to remove an element from the last place, you do what? Pop. Are you with me?
Mm.
And I was saying that in the array, it starts counting from what? 0. So if I want to get the name Kwame from the names array, what should I do? Any volunteer?
You do console.log names, then square brackets 2.
2. Any objection? Any objection?
That's it.
Very good. Why? Because Bright will be 0, Ahead will be 1, and Kwame will be what? 2. It will start counting from what? 0, 1, 2. So if I say names squared 2, I'm looking for the item at the second index. So though there are 3 elements here, you start from 0, 0, 1, 2. All right. Now, if you put an index that does not exist, it will tell you array out of bound exception. I take that again. Very important concept. So for instance, if I say name dot 3, will it work?
No.
Yeah.
Because you see what's happening?
Undefined.
Undefined. Yes, because the index you are saying is not even available. Are you getting the point? So yes, that doesn't work. Very bad error. So you run this, you get Kwame because 2 is Kwame in the array. Any questions so far? Arrays are very powerful concept. That's all I'm going to do today. They are very, very powerful. A lot of things can be done with arrays. In fact, a lot of things. Even you, Kra, some of the work you are doing, if you look at it, you can automate it with arrays. Any question? Very crucial concept, arrays. Okay. With this understanding of array, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Now we know the index of an array. You know how to get a length. You know how to remove. We know how to add to the array. Very good. Very, very, very good. Very, very, very good. Right. Now, let's go to the next one. There's another way to add to an array. One, first, we said that the dot push, you are putting the element to the last end of the array. Okay? You are putting the element to the last end of the array. What if I want to put the element for instance, at another location of the array. Are you all with me, please?
Yeah.
So if I want to put the element at another location of the array, a way to do it is that, let me make sure that my screen hasn't, okay. A way to do it is that you specify the location of the array of where you want to put the element and tell what you want to put there. Are you all with me?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Come in, let me clear this again. Are you with me? So I want to put Olivet at a particular location. Are you with me? So I'm going to specify. So this is, I'm changing the element in that location. So I take the names. I'm saying the element in the 0th index should be equal to something else. So after doing that, instead of bright, I have what? Olivet. Are you all with me? So this is how you can manipulate the array. Are you all with me? Let me take a very interesting.
So, Mr. Bright.
Yes.
So in that instance, will the bright still remain in the
No. No, it's gone. It is modified.
Okay. I'm
That's
asking
why
because the screen is stuck.
I'm taking a very interesting example right now so that you can see. So I've created another array. You have my screen, right?
No.
Nope.
Come in. Let me just switch to my phone's data to even be better. Sometimes annoying. I hate this MTN. This. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Switch my network. Let me see if this works better. I have my screen. I'm sure you have my screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I have an array called names. You can see that, right? And I have another array called scores. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
the assumption here is that what I want to do, okay, is that I'm saying that these are the names of the students in my class, okay? And these are their scores. Make sense? And I am saying that the first person, their score is what is against them. So the first person is the first score here. Are you with me? The second is the second score here. All right. Now, so we have this. Now, if Olivet comes and says that, no, I scored more than that. All right. Or the first person say, oh, actually, my name is not this. My name is Olivet. And I want to update. I want to change the first name from Bright to Olivet. I will now say the names, no. The first one is no more Bright, but it's now Olivet. Which means moving forward, the names array will not have the Bright anymore, but it will have Olivet in place of Bright. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You get it, right? Good. Now I'm going to ask you a follow-up then. What if Oliver's score it's 100, not 89? What should we do?
We follow the same process just
Just
as we
guide me through.
did for the names.
Tell me what we should do.
So we
Once I
do.
ask you to do something, then you should follow the procedure. Let's go. Okay, cool. What do we do?
So we do the score.
Good. Score. And we know that Olivet is at the 0th place, right? So you can say the score 0 is now equal to what?
100%. 100. Yeah.
Instead of exactly. Are you all with me? So if we do console.log, and we know console.log is just so that we can see what we are doing, right? I hope you're all with me. We just do console.log because we want to see what is happening, right?
Yeah.
One requirement. So if we check the scores, we expect that the first one will now be what? 100. Are you with us? Just make sure I've saved this. But you get the concept, right? Important.
Yes.
They understand it. So you see the new is what? 171 what? 99. Even though when we started it was what? 89. But along the way we did what? We changed it. Remember the code runs from the top to what? The bottom. Don't forget that. Good. So this is how you can manipulate the array.
All right, Mr. Bright.
Yes, please.
So why is it that when we're writing the names, we are putting them in the quotation mark, but the numbers we are not putting them in the quotation mark?
Good. Anyone with any explanation to that? Very good question. But anyone with any explanation to that?
I think the names are Boolean. Boolean. That's why they are in quotation.
I mean,
I
the
think,
idea is there.
I think
The
it's
data
the
type, they are what?
string.
Strings.
Yes,
Very,
them.
very good. Names, all strings must be in what? Quotation. All strings in programming, not just JavaScript. All strings must be in what? Quotation. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Good. So if you are displaying a string, it must be quoted all the time.
Okay, so can we have numbers too as strings sometimes?
You can have numbers as string very well. For instance, a phone number can be a string.
Okay.
You get my point? Yeah. My house number can be a string. But if it's a number that I want to do mathematical operation on, then it cannot be a string. Are you getting my point?
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
is the string okay?
The string, you cannot do mathematical operation on it.
Okay.
Yes. You cannot divide two strings.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Do we get the concept of arrays? I want to really digest the concept of arrays. It's a very powerful one that you need moving on. You can see a lot of applications already, even with this exam score thing we are doing. There's a lot of application when arrays are concerned. In fact, a lot of things are done with arrays. Arrays in different forms. That's all. Your Facebook feed is an array. Your Instagram feed is an array. It's just a list of what? Posts from people, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Technically, if you need to do a lot about arrays, you see, yeah, there are a lot of functions. We are going to go through all of them one so that you can get all of it. Now, another function I want to go is called reverse. Who can tell what it to do?
Go back to the previous.
Come again. Yes, the idea is there, but let me print the result, then you can tell me what you think the reverse to do. Now, there's an interesting thing about reverse, okay? It's an interesting thing about reverse. So ideally, as the name suggests, it is going to what? You are changing the order of the array. Exactly what you are saying is, but you are changing the order of the array. So let's say, but let me see. What I need to do is that if I say reverse and I do this, okay, and I console.log new names, stay with me. What we are doing right now is check this. You see, you have reverse. When you reverse, oh, come on. Did I call it as a function or not? Let me just do that straight and see. Sorry, I'm coming. So that you can see this beautifully. Who can tell what happened in the reverse case? Who can tell now? Did you see that the array, after we change, it has changed the order of the array? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Good. So you see the use cases of this thing. So for instance, the students have come. They say you have arranged the name alphabetical order, or you have arranged the number ascending order. And the student have come, oh no, don't arrange it ascending order, but I change it descending order. What do you need to do? Reverse the list. right? That's all.
Yeah.
So you see the use cases, they are not just there, they've thought about them, and then they have use cases for them. As a programmer, you think about what you want to do and see what you can use to help you. Does that make sense? That's the whole idea of programming. You have a problem and you need to solve it, so you think, how do you solve it? There are a lot of other things. So we have looked at reverse. There's one I want to also mention also is, let me just do a lot of things we can do on arrays. All these are called functions. So the functions are things that you can do with the array. Now there's another popular one that you might need. I want to mention is called index of. Let me see, index of. No, let me do it, index of this. So let me do it quickly so that you do it in a simple way. There's a lot of functions you would have to explore, but they are quite expressive. If you watch the English, you understand. If you think about index of u in your head, what do you think? I mentioned that they have indices, right? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, right? So if I say names, which is the names array, right? And I say index of Olivet, what do you expect?
It should give you the position, I think.
The position. And which this position is what?
0.
0.
0. So you see the answer here is what? 0. Do you see it? Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, so they are English. Sometimes you don't need to know, you just try it and then you will see what it does, and then you know that moving forward. Does that make sense? Sometimes you can Google and say, if I want an index of an element in an array, what do I do? And then you see the function and then you use it. Right. So there's a lot of them there. If you press a dot, you can see, for instance, a lot of other, there's slice, there's sort, there's splice, there's a lot of things you can do on each of the arrays. Now, one thing about arrays, I'll mention that later is right now, because I've not teach you what to call loops, but we'll talk about that later. But I need you to understand arrays for today and the various functions that can be done on them. Are we on the same page? Do you understand the foundation of arrays for now? I want to introduce something else, but I'll just introduce it because we have like some few minutes to go. Any question? At least you have the basic understanding of arrays. I want to introduce something so that I can give you a difficult assignment. There's something we call iterations in programming. Iterations. Now, the goal of programming is so that you can do repeated tasks easily. The goal is that so that you can repeat things easily. The computer can do something for you, and then you just sit and just watch it. Now, when you come to that, you enter into what you call loops. Loops. There's a concept of what you call loops. Loops. And I will teach you the basic loop, and then you can explore more when you want to. Now we have tackled arrays, and then we now go into what you call loops. Now, anytime you want a task to repeat itself, we do something we call loops. And loops, there are two types of loops. There's a for loop, and then we have another form of loop which is more like recursion, but I'll teach you the basic one. If you need a task to repeat itself in JavaScript, you do what you call for. Okay. Now what do? You easily start with, you type the keyword for, you put the condition in the bracket, and then the logic or the code you want to run, you put it in this curly brace here. So you start, you are going to say there are three things that must be in the bracket, but they are called the conditions, should be in the bracket. And the code you want to write will be in the curly brace here. So let's say we want to say the code we want to write, say we say hello, welcome, right? This is what we want to write. Now want to run this code a number of times. We want to run this code 10 times. But ideally, hope if I ask you to do hello welcome 10 times, what will you do? You paste this and paste this and paste this for 10 times, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in programming, if you do that, we'll laugh at you. So you don't have to do that. We have what we call loops. So you just run the code you want to run is this, but you put it in what you call a for statement. And therefore you tell it that for index, when you start from 0, so you tell it the index is where you are starting from. And you're going to say run starting from the index which is 0 all the way to a point where the index is less than 10. It's going to start from 0. So 0 to less than 10 will be 10 times. Are you with me?
Mm.
Or if you start from 1, then you can say less than or equal to what? 10. Are you with me? But if I'm starting from 0, 0 less than 10 is what? 10 times. Are you with me? And then I'm going to say the last stage, I'm going to say after, so this first part here is called the initial point. Where should the code start from? And this is the condition on which it will end, or it will keep running until this condition is no more met. And this one is called the incremental operator. How often should it happen? Or after each, what should happen? Let's first run this code, and when we see the result, we can talk more about it. So let me run this code. I'm running this code. What do you see on the screen? Hope.
And I'm saying hello, welcome.
1,
Several,
2,
several times.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what? 10.
Yeah.
This for loop here, whatever code is inside is going to run until this condition is unmet. Are you all with me?
So okay, so please, what's the index plus plus for?
It's saying that start from index which is equal to what? 0. But after each loop, increase the index by what? 1. Index plus plus, this index plus plus, okay, this index plus plus, in actual sense, means index equals index plus 1. That is the full meaning of this. This is a shortcut. Index plus plus, this is the full meaning of index plus plus. When you are done with one step, take the variable index, pick the initial value and add 1 to it. So if it was 0, the next one will be what? 1. If it was 1, the next one will be what? 2. Are you with me?
Okay.
That will keep increasing until it meets the condition where index is what? Less than what? 10. So if I start from 0 to, and I'm increasing it 1, 1, 1, when I'll get to less than 10, I would have done what? 10 steps. Any question? So if I say, and please, this index is not a keyword. You can use any variable for it. If I use I just make sure I need to do all this I. Do you get it? Are you with me?
Okay.
Yeah. The index is not any unique thing. The only thing that is unique is the for and the let. Are you with me? So if I say write good morning on your screen 5 times, if I say run good morning on your screen 5 times, I can just do this. Are you with me? And if I run my code, I have good morning how many times? 5 times.
Times.
Good. You have any question? So for loops allow you to repeat a certain number of code for a certain number of times. Are you with me? Seniors, are you there? Or it's confusing?
We are here.
Is it confusing?
Not really.
Very good.
We did with you.
Very good. So I think I'll go over the for loop again next week, but what I want you to get is at least what? The arrays. Okay. I'll go over the for loop. It can be really complicated. It can be very powerful tool. Very, very powerful tool. Very, very, very powerful tool. Anything that is repetitive, you can handle it in a for loop. And a very interesting approach is that I can actually, if I say write 1, 2, 3 to 100, okay? If I say write 1, 2, 3 to 100, starting from 1, okay?
Mm.
I can just do this. You see this? And if I run this code, have you seen?
Mm.
Yeah. So, and this happened in seconds. So if you are writing it to yourself, you'll be tired. I should have asked
Your
you to
book
go and
will
write.
finish.
I should have asked you to go and write a code down, write 1, 2, 3 to 100 on your screen. You
Copy and paste.
you copy and paste 1, 2, 3. No, 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 no. So you see that I'm running a for loop. I'm saying that start from what? 1, right? And
Mhm.
stop when you are less than or equal to 100 and be increasing it what? 1, 1, 1. But when you go one step now, display the I which will be what? Starting from 1. The next one will go to 2. Display that result on the screen, and that's a simple way to solve the problem. So for loops are powerful. We'll take them again the next time, but this evening concentrate more on understanding arrays, play around with arrays, create arrays, add to the arrays, remove from the arrays. The next time we'll meet again, we'll talk about the for loops and we'll put all of them into functions like what William did in his part. There are functions that we can also look at as well. And then when we are done with functions, and everything, and I give you a few practice, then we put this technology into developing your web apps now. How can we make your website in a way that when somebody clicks, you can handle things and do it properly? Any question? Arrays extensively today. We mentioned that arrays are a collection of items. It could be any form of item at all. And we mentioned that to add to an array, you use what we call push. You push it to the last element. We say if you want to remove from the array, use the pop function. And we also said that if you want to get an array in an element in a particular index, you just use a square bracket and put the index there. We say that to access the length of an array, use dot length, or the size of the array, use dot length. We also say that you can manually change the item in an array by specifying the index and assigning the value directly to it. And we finally concluded by talking about loops that are used to handle repetitive tasks in programming. Without much or any question? Any question? No questions. All right. Of course, the video will be available, so you can always go over and over again when you need to. Any question? William, right. If there are no more questions,
Yes, sir.
you can we can call it a Thursday. But